In this video, I'm going to talk about how to actually become a high ticket closer. Now, there are a lot of videos out there, and to be honest, I think a lot of them leave really important information out in terms of giving you action steps in the proper way to ensure success if you decide to go down that route. I want to say, if I didn't decide to go down the route that I'm on right now, which is starting my own coaching program, I would have 1,000% dove deep into high ticket closing. I was well on my way there. And to be honest, that was one of my decisions when I was a high ticket setter and I needed to make a call, right? Start my own business, get into high ticket closing. I had those options. And that's honestly going to be one of the topics that we're going to be covering in this video. And yeah, I really want to go ahead and dive right into it. And I want to start off by reading a couple notes that I have here in front of me. And that is that it's rare that you will get started just high ticket closing. So if that's where you want to get to, I'm unfortunately here to break the bad news to you, but it's very, very rare that you go and ask a bunch of people for roles on sales teams. And let's just say you happen to make these connections. Even then, it'll be hard for you to directly get started with sales. And I have a couple of lists that I want to go down here. I'm talking about why that is, why a business owner would be hesitant on just kind of hiring you right off the bat, especially if you are a beginner and you're just trying to get into the industry, is that as a closer, as a high ticket closer, you're a business owner's riskiest hire. Okay. And the reason is that you are closest to the money. So they are depending on you a lot and a lot on your skill set to perform. Because if you don't perform, it's literally a matter of making or breaking a deal. You're the sole reason why somebody will end up deciding whether they pay $5,000 for that high ticket coaching program or they don't pay because they didn't like having the conversation with you. And they felt that having the conversation with you was a direct reflection towards that business. So they decided, you know what, this is probably not the best fit for me. So it's risky for a business owner to just hire anybody, especially if they are barely getting into the industry. Because to be honest, guys, high ticket closing is hard, especially if you're a beginner, you don't know what you're doing. I mean, rightfully so. You're not going to be an expert right off the bat. It's supposed to be hard. But that is where the smarter approach in getting into this industry takes place. And it's extremely rare that you're going to be really good at the beginning. Like I was mentioning, it does take a lot of repetition and practice to get into the flow state that you need to be to start essentially like closing deals left and right, because that is what a high ticket closer does. They need to maintain a 30% close rate and above. Right. And the higher it is, the better you are. But to be honest, people, when they first get started, like they're going to suck. That's just the truth. And, typically a business owner can see if you are going to be a good fit within 5 calls or less. Right. And, yeah, I mean, it's not enough time. It's not a long enough threshold to give you the actual repetition and practice that you need to go in there and start crushing it. That's why beginners don't get hired as closers right off the bat. And we're going to go ahead and dive into what you can get hired with to eventually find yourself to become a high ticket closer. Now, here's what you need to do instead. You need to get your foot in the door. So, yeah, if you are an absolute beginner, you want to get into the high ticket closing space, you're going to have to build relationships with people that can eventually help you get there. Okay, they can be business owners, they can be sales rep themselves, or they could just be on a sales team in general. But you need to have a certain connection. I read a statistic recently that 80% of like high level jobs like closing are not out to the public. They're always going to refer to somebody or somebody's connection to hire somebody. So that's what you need. Okay, and I don't even mean strictly just to get into high ticket closing here. You need to get in through a different way. And if I'm being honest, the best way and the fastest way to get into it is going to be by becoming a high ticket setter. This is how I got into the industry initially. I had zero skills. Yes, I was also looking into becoming a closer, but that's kind of what I realized off the top is as a beginner, it's going to be hard for me to sell people if I have never sold anything before, right? So the lowest barrier to entry opportunity there is to get to a closing position is going to be by becoming a high ticket setter. And once you make these connections, that is the role that you want to get to. go land a high ticket setting job. It's not hard. Even the skill set is not too hard. Somebody who's, pretty competent in terms of just being able to communicate with somebody, they'll get the job. And really what you want to do here is you just want to perform like your life depends on it. You want to show the business owner that you're serious, you're here to stick around. You're not somebody that's just trying to look for a quick buck, and rather you're just there to learn. You're there to develop skills all around. And that can be in sales, it can be in communication, it can be in literally just learning, being able to become a sponge. And the beauty about high ticket setting is it's not like a dead end job or anything like that. You can still make a lot of money. I'll give you an example. When I was high ticket setting, my record month in a single month was $11,000. I have a student that I helped who did 10,000 in a single month. I also have another student named Chris. He actually just wrapped up April doing $9.1 thousand. So it's really a lot about the opportunity you can get into, the amount that others are earning on that team, and that's what you want to be conscious of. So if you want to know more about high ticket appointment setting, go check out some of my other videos. I have a bunch of trainings on what you need to look out for in terms of finding that 1% high ticket setting role. You could still get paid very, very well, and on top of that, you can still maintain the luxuries that come with remote closing, meaning you can literally be in any part of the world as long as you're performing and as long as you have your phone. If you can do those things, then if you need to hop onto meetings, onto team meetings, you're just going to need your laptop. But really, realistically, you can go anywhere you want. I went to Canada, I went to Tulum, Mexico, and I was appointment setting away. And it's actually funny. I have a story where I actually made $1,000 on a yacht. It's super cool. But I was a part of that team, and we were at a client retreat. And yeah, I wish I would have like documented that more. I'll probably throw in like a video, or I'll probably make another video for another time. But yeah, it really goes to show that you have the freedoms that you're looking for. So don't worry, you're not going to be like slaving your life away. It's just a matter of making sure you know how to work your way up. You know how to slither your way in rather than just directly asking for a position that's not realistically going to be given to you as a beginner, as a stranger. Cool. So now that you're on the team, you have to build a connection with everybody, and you have to also show curiosity. You have to demonstrate that you're willing to learn and you have a means and a desire to move forward. You don't always want to stick there. And honestly, I don't imagine this taking long at all. But over the next couple of months, the main things that you should be prioritizing is performance. So making sure you earn as much as possible. So that way the business can generate as much as possible. But at the same time, you want to express your desire to learn. So if you can get access to, sales call recordings, you can ask the business owner, you can ask a team member, and just slowly but surely let people know you're interested. And honestly, like it's kind of unfortunate, but you do have to take a little bit of a corporate type of approach, right? Like in any job, for example, I used to work in Amazon. I started off as a regular worker, eventually got hired full time, and then even after that, I went the extra mile. I made relationships with people who were in management, and then eventually I became assistant manager at that time that I was working there. And that is my point, is you want to continue the same type of criteria and get your foot in the door. And if you've followed this blueprint well enough, then by the time you've performed, you've shown you're competent, you've shown you're curious, and you're willing to help the business grow alongside your own skill development, they're going to give you, a call here, a call there, and you want to be as prepared as possible. So yes, you want to gain that footage in terms of those sales call recordings. You also want to go and do your own sales training, and you want to be ready at a moment's notice. And honestly, like it might take some persistence from you. You might have to bug the business owner in terms of giving you an opportunity to take a sales call here and there. It doesn't necessarily need to be all at once, but those few opportunities that you get will make or break whether you're going to end up a closer on that team or not. Right. And yes, I know people do take a minute to kind of find their footing with whatever position they're in, but the faster you can perform, the faster they will have a light bulb moment and you will become a high ticket closer. If you close one deal within the 5 calls that they give you, then you're golden, right? They're going to look at you as gold, and they're not going to want to do anything but lift you up so you can help lift the business up, so you can free the business owner from having to take the sales calls, or you can just develop the sales team all around. I know this isn't the fast track results that a lot of people want out there, but I'd rather stick around and tell you guys the truth rather than kind of feed you this unrealistic outcome. Unfortunately, that's just how it is, right? I want you to picture yourself as a business owner. Would you hire somebody that you've never talked to, you've never heard about their skill sets, you don't know anything about their experience. Would you hire them as a closer for your business, having knowing nothing about them? Chances are you're probably not. Would you hire the person that has been helping you book in calls, qualify people, and make sure that only qualified buying types of people are getting onto these sales calls? You're probably going to hire that person over the stranger. Does that make sense? I hope you all enjoyed this one. Like I mentioned, I try my best to keep it as real as possible. And if you're serious about getting into the online business game, you want to become a high ticket setter and then eventually make your way up to a high ticket closer, follow me over on Instagram and I'll send you a message just kind of chatting about what everything could potentially look like for you. I'll see you all in the next video.